Hey there, my name is Hayden Jones, and today we're going to be talking about the AE1 Mids and the AE1 Lows, and which one is better, which one is more worth your money, the better performer, all of that stuff coming right up. All right, today we're looking at the AE1 Mids. I already unboxed the Lows, but we're going to compare the two. I'm going to compare the two. These are my friends Matt and Nate. They're here to watch me unbox these. Yeah. Get some first impressions. Oh! They're the same as the Lows.
Well, duh.
They're just a different color. They're a little bit darker. Yeah, give a sniff test.
Yeah, smells like new shoe. Just like
Smells like a new shoe. Just in between these and the Lows.
Ventilation.
Nice ventilation.
I gotta get the slip.
Oh, great heavens.
Left one smells better.
Really? I thought the right one smelled good in the first place.
I mean, that one's all right, but...
So I'm going to treat this very similarly to how I treated my AE1 Low review or any of my basketball reviews, which if you haven't checked that out yet, be sure to go check that out. I just uploaded that AE1 review pretty recently. As you can tell, I recorded those two videos on the exact same day. But basically, I'm going to go category by category with a graphic I'll put up here so that you can see all the categories. And basically, I'm just going to talk about which shoe is better for that specific category. And then at the end, I'm going to tell you which one I think I prefer overall and which one I think is just the objective better shoe overall. I'm not really going to do a point system here because these shoes are so similar that I think it's just more beneficial to talk about them in each category and then give my overall thoughts on which one you should get if you prefer a certain aspect of playing more than another. So we're going to jump straight into it with the aesthetics, my favorite category, even though it doesn't matter about performance. The aesthetics, in my personal opinion, I prefer the Lows more than the Mids. That could be unpopular opinion because these are the originals and a lot of people like the high top look more than this low top look, but I love this beefed up ankle collar, and in my opinion, these are a more lifestyle friendly shoe. And I really enjoy wearing my basketball shoes lifestyle. I might be the minority in that, but I think that it's a totally acceptable thing to do. I think that you should wear your basketball shoes lifestyle if you want to. And I think that these are just more suitable for lifestyle wear and overall just are a better looking shoe because of the low top aspect. I also personally think that the Mural colorway that's dropping on August 5th is the best colorway and the best looking AE1 out of any of the Mids or Lows, and I'm definitely getting my hands on a pair of those because that is just probably the cleanest colorway of any of them, in my opinion. Hey there, sorry to interrupt your viewing experience. This is not an ad, this is actually just me interjecting in my own video to say that I actually have another pair of AE1s here. It's the Mural colorway that I talked about in my last video and in this video. And the reason I'm interjecting is because I actually got this pair and a half size down so that I could test it out for you all and make sure that any of the critiques I have on the Lows is not just because of the sizing. As you're going to continue to see, some of my critiques with the Lows versus the Mids have to do with the sizing. So I made sure to get a size that is better for my foot. I'm going to go wear them right now. And then I'm going to give some quick and brief thoughts at the very end of this video about how this pair played in comparison to the one that was a little bit too big for me. So be sure to stay tuned for that. And let me open these up really quick so that you can see what that Mural pair looks like. First of all, comes in the regular box. Oh, these are so sick. These are so cool. Personally, this is just so much better than that Ascent Pack pair. I think that those are fine and they're a lot more toned down, so they're probably for more people actually. But for me, I love bright and loud colors, and this bright and loud colored shoe is just right up my alley. Also, thank you all so much for 1,000 subscribers. This means so much to me. I've been working my butt off trying to make as many shorts and videos as possible for you all. I don't make any money off of my videos, so if you guys haven't already, be sure to like and subscribe. But the support that you guys have already been giving me, it means the world to me. Getting 1,000 subscribers seemed kind of like a pipe dream when I started this channel, and it's happened so quickly. I try to respond to all of your comments, so if you want a suggestion for a future shoe review or anything, be sure to leave it down in the comments below. Anyways, I'll stop yapping about that. Enjoy the rest of the video. But just as a whole, I do prefer the design language of the Lows a little bit more than the Mids, especially because of a couple of things. I really like this cutout in the heel that shows you the boost, and the same thing here in the medial side, you can see the light strike that pokes through the material here, whereas on the Mids you can't. And I think it just kind of adds more dimension to the shoe, and I really actually enjoy that about it. Next up, we've got the support. Overall, the support is very similar, but I am going to be giving this to the Mids. That high top kind of helps support you a little bit more. It doesn't make that big of a difference, but it also has a little bit better heel slippage because of the fact that there's this high top that really like encases your whole heel. There's really not going to be any heel slippage. Your ankle doesn't move at all. So the support is a little bit better for the Mids. If you want a more supportive shoe, I would definitely understand why you would go towards the Mids, but the Lows do great for support as well. I just think that the Mids obviously have the advantage with being a taller shoe with more caging around your ankle and your heel. Up next, we have the traction, and this is very interesting. You'd probably expect them to have the exact same traction pattern, and they basically do, but they're actually a little bit different, and I'll tell you why. So they both have these peaks and valleys where when you're in like the middle of the triangle outsole shape, it kind of pokes out from the shoe and protrudes out a little bit more. But with the mids, this is way more dramatic. Like there's a lot more of a peak and then a lot more of a valley in between these triangle shapes, whereas with the lows, the outsole is a lot more flat. And I think that this actually hurts the lows because while the traction was really great in both of these, I think the traction is a little bit better in the mids overall. I just found myself having to wipe the bottoms less and getting a better bite when I was stopping, and maybe people will like have a different opinion on that, but for me, I think that the lows are a little bit worse when it comes to traction than the mids, and that was kind of disappointing because I was hoping that they would be similar because I always hear about how people love the traction in the mids, but overall, I do think that the mids are a little bit better, and I don't know why they changed that. I'm assuming it's because the low tops had like less space underfoot, or they were trying to cut down on the weight and that was less material, but I do prefer the traction on the mids overall, and it was definitely a kind of a shocking discovery that I made when I realized that these are not the same outsoles. Also, I'm sorry, I'm literally sweating right now because it's like 100 degrees outside, and I'm not even moving, I'm just sweating from sitting here. But anyways, the materials. Moving on to the materials are a tie. They're basically the exact same. There's really no difference. They're both just this rubber and this knit upper. They both feature fake carbon fiber heel tabs, which is a bummer. And the cushion is a separate category. We'll get to that because the cushion is a little bit different, but the materials overall are basically the exact same, so there's really not a difference there. Next up, we have the cushion, and now this is what I said was going to be a little bit different. They both feature dual density foams with light strike and boost. However, from what I've been reading, the mids feature jet boost, whereas the lows feature light boost, and that was in an effort to reduce the weight on these, like I said. But that's very interesting. They used two different kinds of boost for these, and for that, I think I prefer the lows because the light boost is a lot better for lightweight shoes, which I prefer. Next up, we have the fit, and I'm going to be giving this a tie as well. If you watched my AE1 low review, you'll know that I was kind of disappointed because I went true to size, and these fit a little long in my personal opinion. I went with a size 10 in these, which is a half size down from what I typically go in Adidas shoes, and it actually fit me great, so I preferred going a half size down in this shoe. But overall, the fit is essentially the same, even though these are like longer on me. I think it's just because I went a half size up, and they're not the same size. So overall, the fit, can't really give it much of a difference. Nothing noticeable enough to give one or the other an edge. And next up, we have the weight. Again, I'm going to give this to the lows. I haven't weighed these yet. I'll put the weight on the screen, but the lows are definitely lighter no matter what, and you can just feel that in the shoe. It feels like it's definitely also better distributed with the weight, which I talked about in my Dawn Issue 5 review. I really like weight distribution because if the weight is all at the bottom of your foot, you just feel bottom heavy. Definitely for weight, you're going to have to go with the AE1 lows. And then durability, I will actually have to give this to the mids, barely. I mean, it's not really much of a difference, but the outsole pattern is a little bit different. Like I said, the grooves are a little bit deeper. There's more peaks and valleys in it, which might make it last a little bit longer if you were to play outside. And then also, instead of having these openings in the rubberized midsole, there is just an enclosed full rubberized midsole, whereas like you can see the light strike here and you can see the boost in the back. I really doubt that you would have many like strikes in those areas that would mess up the foam. But just because it is more enclosed and it has this deeper and more thick outsole, I'm gonna have to give durability to the mids. And then last but not least, we have the price. The price of these is $120 for the mids and $110 for the lows. So of course I have to give it to the lows for being $10 less, but the price is essentially the same. I mean, there's not a big difference in the price. And so yeah, overall, which one did I prefer playing in? I personally somehow preferred playing in the mids. Now, a lot of that, in my opinion, is I believe just the fact that I went a half size down in these and I went true to size in these, and so the fit was a little wonky in the mids, and these were definitely like more snug, which I prefer. But overall, I kind of liked the mids because there was less heel slippage, which is something I didn't really talk about in this, but because of the fit, and again, I don't really want to give it points off because I think it was mostly the fit, but I did notice a little more heel slippage in this, whereas because this is a mid, it really locks down your ankle and your heel. But I preferred that. I preferred the traction. Like I was saying, the traction was just so sticky on these, and it was still super sticky on these, but just a little bit less. So overall, I did prefer playing in the mids more. I would definitely rather rock these lifestyle than the mids, but to play in, I do prefer the mids. But this is all gonna come down to personal preference. And for me, that preference was the mids just because of like that lockdown and everything. All right, as promised, these are my final thoughts on the AE1 Mids versus the AE1 Lows. Also, don't mind my shirt. I just figured I'd celebrate the Lakers 2020 championship today. And these are so much better now that I have gone down a half a size. I will say that there is still a little bit of heel slippage, but most of that can be solved as long as you go ahead and lace up these the top eyelets. I think a lot of people are having problems with the heel slippage because they're not using that final eyelet. I could be wrong, but there's really not a lot of heel slippage as long as you do that, and as long as you have a size that is more conformed to your foot. That being said, I still do prefer the AE1 Mids for gameplay. However, I mean, with this specific colorway, I mean, this is one of the sickest shoes that I own right now. I love this Mural colorway, especially in person. I think that this is going to be my favorite pair to play in, literally just because of aesthetics. But overall, I do think that the Mids are probably still better for your money. Yes, they're $10 more, but the tech is a little bit better. The Lows are a little bit stiffer. I've been seeing that complaint online a lot, and I do think that they're a bit of a stiffer shoe than the Mids. That it's not a huge difference. I mean, overall, I think the gameplay in both of these is so similar. Like the Lows and the Mids are very similar. These just lock you down a little bit more, and I do prefer the springy jet boost over the light boost. But yeah, my overall final thoughts is that they're so close. I mean, they're so similar, but I do prefer the Mids for playing basketball and the Lows for lifestyle wear. And I also had a lot better traction in these, by the way. Usually translucent outsoles can be a little bit weird, and this is translucent, but I actually found the traction in this Mural colorway to be a little bit better than my Ascent colorway. Maybe that's just me. Sometimes that just happens shoe to shoe. You get better traction and worse traction. But even with this being better than my Ascent pack Lows, the traction on the Mids still is a better traction pattern. This is just deeper traction grooves, like I said, than the ones on the Lows, which are still more flat in this Mural colorway. So I think that traction is better on these. Cushion is better on these. Overall, I think that you're getting more for your dollar with the Mids, and that's the personal shoe that I would go with. But anyways, those are my updated thoughts. Just wanted to let you all know, since I have a pair that's a lot better sized, if it's any better or worse, and I definitely think that it is better. Now I'm gonna go back to the past and let former Hayden wrap this video up. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, it would be awesome if you maybe left a like and subscribed, just like I did in my last video. To end this one off, instead of throwing the shoe at the camera, because that's what I typically do, I am gonna front flip into this pool. So enjoy that, and I'll catch you guys in my next video. Be sure to leave a comment if you want a different shoe reviewed, or if you have an idea for a video, just leave a comment. See you later, bye, adios.